Hi, I'm Cara Anandale.
I'm Marissa Nugent.
I'm Nathan Santos.
And I'm JC Lake.
And we are the Serial Killers. Today, our group will be discussing Case 2 from the Ethics Bowl, and we will be answering the question, under what circumstances, if any, is human composting morally permissible? Human composting, or NOR, natural organic reduction, is the process of composting human bodies by breaking them down with bugs or naturally occurring chemicals and soils, and allowing that soil to be repurposed for agricultural or land needs. We will start off by talking about the environmental impacts of other forms of burials.
First, we're going to go over why NOR is better for the environment than your traditional burial. Starting off, we're going to list the quick cons of traditional burial. Traditional burial starts by going over the process of embalming fluid. Millions of tons of embalming fluid are used every single year at different types of cemetery. This is incredibly harmful to the soil because that soil will no longer be able to produce fresh grass or plants, which harms the environment. Traditional burial also releases a lot of carbon emissions in the sense that steel and wood need to be gathered to make caskets. But then there's another form of burial which people do believe is better for the environment, which is cremation. However, cremation also releases a lot of carbon emissions, such as one cremation for one body is as much as a 500-mile trip by car. This is incredibly damaging to the environment, as sure, it doesn't directly damage the soil, but it does damage the air around it, which can also lead to higher carbon emissions, which damages our ozone layer. Now, reasons that NOR are significantly safer and better for the environment is reasons such as once the body is buried in the ground, there are no chemicals used to preserve that body. The body is going to be naturally composted by the chemicals in the soil. The only chemicals released during this process are natural chemicals which occur from the body as well as the soil. NOR is also a lot better for the environment in the sense that that soil could be repurposed to use for farmland in the future, as well as it doesn't take up a lot of land with the use of gravestones, etc. People also often plant trees on top of NOR sites because of the natural fermentation as from these bodies. Overall, NOR is proven to be much safer for the environment as it doesn't cause harm.
Next, we want to talk about the aspect that is the freedom of choice. We believe that all humans have the right to certain freedoms, and while there are limits to this, we believe that when the freedom does not interfere with any other person's freedoms or health, that freedom should be allowed. We believe that NOR doesn't impede anyone else's freedoms or health, and therefore it should be legal and morally permissible. NOR is on the cheaper side of burial methods, as according to Funeralocity, a consumer advocate, a traditional full-service burial costs around $8,500, while a full-service cremation costs about $6,250 or $6,250, and the average NOR is from $3,000 to $7,000, so about $5,000. NOR is a very good way to have a non-traditional burial that rivals traditional burials in prices and also is more environmentally friendly. Many people prefer the environmental aspect, and also some people prefer the price. Either way, that is a choice that someone should be able to make. And since these aspects don't limit anyone else's freedoms or health more than any other traditional method, it should be ethical to use these, and it would be unethical to limit the use of these extra methods. There are also many people that think NOR is a good way to be buried in the fact that it shows the values they held during their life. And while there may be a population that disagrees with this, the people that prefer it don't affect those people who disagree. They don't affect their freedoms or their health, and therefore it is perfectly ethical to use these extra methods. And finally, we think that anyone should be able to do anything that does not affect these freedoms, as previously said, and this is a good way to have a burial method that doesn't do any of this. Now we'll move on to our counter arguments.
So the main counter argument in this case is the fact that death has meaning to humanity. So in the current burial methods, they have a deep religious and cultural meanings to many people. And they embody the idea of remembrance of people, giving death the meaning that humanity craves. But our rebuttal to this is the fact that
Sorry.
no, it's okay. Our rebuttal to this is the fact that traditional burial methods they might prioritize memory, but why can't people also be remembered within nature, which is what decomposition, composting allows, which is what human composting allows. The choice of the choice of composting demonstrates a further connection to the values that people hold in their lives that they did live on this earth. So, like in the case of Dennis Cunningham, for example, which is the example that the original case had given, he was an environmentalist through his entire life. So those ideals were held very high within himself. So why shouldn't he have the opportunity given to express those ideals in his afterlife as well? Human composting can be a personal expression of lifelong values. Also, modern burial practices have taken on a more industrial stance in this current age, especially since society has become much more secularized. Religion isn't such a driving force anymore. So human cremation, funeral homes, they've become very industrialized in this day and age. And really, people are just doing these things because it's the norm and because that is what they think may be the only option. But with decomposition, with human composting, people are given a new opportunity to bring their values that they held into their afterlife in an environmentally sustainable way as well. The idea of human exceptionalism is also a large driving force in the counter argument here. So the idea that humans are fundamentally unique and deserve to be treated differently in life and death than other creatures. So humans are, in fact, more conscious and have more culture than other animals. We do have, obviously, a larger brain and more of a, I don't know, what am I saying here? More of a
societal structure.
Yeah, we have a societal structure compared to other creatures, but we're not special when it comes to how we die. Every living creature dies the exact same way, and we all end up degrading the exact same way. So really, shouldn't human composting be more of a connection to nature than the burial methods that we do currently? It expands the moral meaning of death by allowing us to give back to the earth that originally sustained us.
In conclusion, burials have been an important part of human history and have lots of cultural and lots of personal significance to many different kinds of people. That being said, because of the environmental pluses and also the personal choice aspects, we do believe that if a person chooses to be composted after they die and nobody else is harmed by that decision, nobody else's rights are being infringed on, we believe that that is morally permissible, especially since this kind of burial can be just as significant to somebody as a more traditional religiously inclined burial. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation. We hope you don't have questions because we cannot answer them on this video. Anyways, thank you so much, and we hope you had a wonderful